Let's be honest, sometimes the most confusing woman in your life is the one who feels the most. She looks at you but looks away the second your eyes meet. She laughs at your jokes but acts distant the next day. You tell yourself she's not into you, but deep down something doesn't add up. You feel her energy shift when you walk into the room. You notice how she listens when you speak, even if she pretends she's not. And you start wondering, is she hiding something real, or am I just imagining it? Here's the truth most men never hear. When a woman is falling in love, it terrifies her more than it excites her. Love isn't a safe space for most women. It's a battlefield of emotions, past heartbreaks, and fears of losing control. You see, when a woman truly starts to love, she feels vulnerable in a way that shakes her entire identity. Suddenly, she's not in full control anymore. And that loss of emotional control, that's what makes her pull back, act cold, or even pretend she doesn't care. She might start avoiding eye contact, not because she's uninterested, but because your presence makes her heart race in a way she can't explain. She'll keep conversations short, not because she's bored, but because every second she talks to you, she's fighting the urge to reveal how deeply she feels. You might notice she remembers tiny details you mentioned weeks ago, but plays it off like it's nothing. She's protecting herself because loving you feels risky. This is where most men fail. They assume distance means disinterest, but often it means she's protecting a feeling she's terrified to lose. A woman in love doesn't always move closer. Sometimes she hides, not because she wants to, but because she's been hurt by giving too much too soon before. Her heart remembers the time she trusted and it didn't end well. So she tests you in silence, in patience, in how you handle her confusion. You'll see it in her hesitation to talk about her emotions. You'll feel it in how her energy changes around you. There's a quiet nervousness, an unspoken tension, like she wants to let go but keeps holding back. It's not manipulation, it's protection. Because for a woman, loving a man isn't just emotional, it's spiritual surrender. And surrender feels dangerous when she's unsure if you'll catch her. What most men don't realize is that love for a woman isn't about butterflies, it's about safety. The moment she senses that her heart might not be safe with you, she'll armor her up. She'll joke, she'll flirt, she'll talk about other guys just to see if you'll flinch. But every move she makes is a test of emotional security. The question she's really asking is, can I trust this man with the parts of me no one sees? You might think she's playing games, but what she's really doing is fighting the war between fear and love. And if you pay attention to the subtle signs, the tremble in her voice, the small acts of care she can't explain, the way she pulls away only to circle back, you'll see the truth she's trying so hard to hide. She's in love with you, but she's scared to show it. When a woman falls in love, she doesn't fall gently. She falls all at once. And that's exactly what terrifies her. Love for her isn't just about liking you. It's about losing herself in the feeling. It's about surrendering the emotional control she's worked her entire life to build. And that loss of control, it's something she fears more than heartbreak itself. You see, she's been taught her whole life to be cautious, to guard her heart, to never let a man see just how deeply she can feel. Because the moment she shows that softness, she risks being misunderstood, used, or left behind. That's why even when she's falling for you, she hides behind a mask of calm detachment. She'll make it seem like she's fine without you, like you don't affect her. When inside, she's fighting the chaos of emotions she can't suppress. That's why she sometimes pulls away after moments of closeness. You'll notice it. One day she's open, laughing, leaning in, and the next she's cold, distracted, even distant. It's not because she stopped caring, it's because she felt herself getting too close. Her fear whispers, "You're losing control, you're letting him in, stop." And so she builds a wall, not to block you out entirely, but to slow herself down before she falls too deep, too fast. A woman in love who's scared will often test you in silence. She'll take a step back to see if you'll step forward. She'll create distance just to see if you'll bridge it. It's not manipulation, it's protection. She's trying to see if your presence is something she can depend on or just another temporary comfort. She's not looking for words. She's watching your consistency because deep down she doesn't believe what men say anymore. She believes what they do. You might think her mixed signals mean confusion, but they're actually her heart's defense mechanism. The stronger her feelings grow, the more unpredictable her behavior becomes. That's because love brings her face to face with her deepest fear, rejection. Not the casual kind, but the kind that makes her feel unworthy, invisible, replaceable. Every woman who's loved and lost carries this quiet scar, and when she meets a man who stirs those same emotions, that scar begins to ache again. So instead of confessing how much she feels, she hides behind pride. She pretends she's unbothered. She might even tease you, talk about other men, or act like she's unsure about you. But underneath that mask is panic. Because loving you means risking the very thing she's been running from, being vulnerable. And here's the paradox that most men never understand. The more she loves you, the harder she'll try to hide it, because love makes her feel exposed. And exposure feels dangerous. She's scared you'll see the real her, the one that craves your attention, your voice, your presence, and decides she's too much. So she hides, she suppresses, she builds walls out of logic and independence to mask the storm of emotion underneath. But pay attention, because that fear of losing control doesn't mean she doesn't love you. It means she loves you too much enough to fear what losing you would do to her. So she protects her heart by pretending she doesn't have one to protect. And if you've ever wondered why she pulls away when things start to feel real, it's not because she's losing interest. It's because she's terrified of how real it already feels. Love rarely announces itself with words, especially not when she's scared. When a woman is in love but afraid to show it, she doesn't confess. It leaks through her smallest, most unintentional actions. And if you're observant, those subtle shifts tell you everything you need to know. Because a woman's body, her tone, her energy, they reveal what her words are too afraid to say. You'll notice it in how she listens to you, really listens. Not the surface level nodding people do when they're waiting for their turn to speak, but the kind of silence that means she's absorbing every word. She remembers things you mentioned in passing, your favorite song, that childhood story you shared once, even the way your voice changed when you talked about something that mattered. Those details for her are proof of connection. And when a woman collects the details of your life, it's not casual interest, it's emotional investment. Her laughter changes too. When she's around you, it's softer, freer. Like the walls she holds around others quietly drop without her noticing. But then she catches herself. She'll stop, shift her tone, or distract herself just to regain composure. Because every time she lets that guard down, she feels how deep she's falling. And deep scares her. Her eyes tell even more than her words. When she looks at you, there's this split second of stillness, like her soul pauses. She might break eye contact quickly, but that's not disinterest. It's exposure. Her eyes are where her emotions betray her, and locking into yours for too long makes her feel seen in a way she's not ready for. It's why she avoids it, because she knows if she stares too long, she won't be able to pretend anymore. And then there's her body language, the quiet chaos of attraction. She'll face you even when she's pretending not to care. She'll lean closer during a conversation, mirror your movements, or brush her hair behind her ear when you speak. Her voice might soften, her tone might shift. These are instinctive signs, uncontrolled, unplanned, and deeply revealing. She's trying to act normal, but her body exposes her truth. Yet what's most powerful are the moments when she withdraws right after showing warmth. You compliment her, and she suddenly changes the topic. You touch her hand, and she laughs nervously. It's not rejection, it's emotional recoil. She opens up, feels the intensity, and instinctively retreats to safety. Because for her, love isn't just joy, it's danger. The kind that could break her if she lets it run wild. You might even catch her doing small, thoughtful things without making them obvious. She'll recommend something you once said you liked. She'll check on you when you're quiet. She'll send a random message that seems casual, but is really her way of saying, "Are you still there? Do you still care?" These gestures aren't random. They're her love language in disguise. But when you confront her about it, she'll deny everything. She'll say, "Oh, it's nothing," or "You're overthinking," because to admit it would mean she's vulnerable, and she's not ready for that yet. Not until she knows her feelings won't be used against her. So the next time she acts hot and cold, warm one moment, distant the next, don't rush to label it as confusion. See it for what it is: emotional conflict. A war between her desire to let you in and her fear of getting hurt again. She's trying to keep her heart safe in a world that once punished her for giving it freely. Every silence hides emotion, every retreat hides longing, and every time she pulls away, what she's really saying is, "I care more than I should." And that scares me. Once a woman begins to feel safe around you, her fear doesn't disappear. It transforms. It becomes something quieter, deeper, something that binds her to you, even when she tries to fight it. This is when her love becomes real, not just emotional attraction. It's when her mind and her heart start aligning. Even if she's still too afraid to admit it, you'll notice a shift in her patterns. She starts thinking of you even when she doesn't mean to. You'll cross her mind at random times, when she's driving, when she's at work, when she hears a song that reminds her of the way you looked at her. That's emotional attachment forming. It's not a choice. It's chemistry and vulnerability weaving themselves together inside her. Suddenly, your presence becomes her peace and your absence becomes her ache. But she won't tell you that. Instead, she'll mask it under sarcasm, teasing, or even light irritation because being emotionally dependent on someone makes her feel exposed, and exposure still terrifies her. So she hides her softness behind little acts of deflection, like pretending your messages don't matter when she's been rereading them for hours. When a woman starts attaching, she also starts sinking emotionally. Her mood might subtly reflect yours. If you're quiet, she'll feel uneasy. If you're happy, she'll match your energy without realizing it. This connection is instinctive, primal. It's how women emotionally bond. It's her way of saying, I feel you. Even when you don't speak, and yet she still won't confess what's happening. Instead, she'll do everything except say it. She'll find excuses to talk to you, sending you memes, asking random questions, checking in about things she doesn't actually care about. But the reason is simple. She wants to feel connected without exposing herself. That's the push and pull of a woman in love, but scared. She craves closeness, but fears the cost of it. Her eyes will start softening around you. The defensive sarcasm will fade. Her laughter will become less guarded, more genuine. She might start mirroring your habits, using your words, liking your music, even adopting your routines. It's not imitation, it's alignment. Her subconscious is blending your world into hers because her heart already decided you feel like home. You'll also notice her testing your emotional reliability. She'll share something small but meaningful, a story from her past, a quiet insecurity, and watch how you respond. If you listen without judgment, her walls lower a little more. If you minimize it or brush it off, they shoot right back up. She's not testing to manipulate you. She's testing to feel safe, to see if her emotions are protected in your hands. And here's the secret most men overlook. The deeper her feelings go, the quieter she becomes. Because at this stage, words feel too small to hold what she feels. She doesn't want to ruin it by confessing too soon. She's scared you'll pull away, scared you'll change. So instead of saying, I love you, she says it in different ways, through consistency, through care, through the softness in her tone when she says your name. She might not say it, but her energy does. Her actions speak louder than any confession ever could. Because for a woman, love isn't proven through declarations. It's proven through devotion. And when she's emotionally attached, she starts prioritizing you in quiet ways she doesn't even notice. That's when you'll feel it. The invisible thread between you. Her voice lingers in your head. Her presence stays with you long after she's gone. And if you're lucky enough to notice those changes before she hides them again, you'll see the truth she can't say out loud. She's already yours. Not because you demanded it, but because you made her heart feel safe enough to stay. When a woman is in love but scared, her emotions start betraying her. No matter how hard she tries to look composed, the truth begins to show in the cracks of her behavior. Her fear of losing control doesn't fade. It shifts into quiet possessiveness, gentle protectiveness, and sudden vulnerability that even she can't explain. She starts revealing how deeply she cares, not through words, but through reactions she never planned to have. It begins with jealousy, not the toxic kind, but the silent one. The way her energy changes when another woman mentions your name, the slight pause in her smile, the softness in her tone disappearing for a moment. She won't say a word, but you'll feel it because deep down she doesn't want to imagine anyone else holding your attention. And yet she'll never admit it. She'll act like it doesn't bother her, like she's indifferent, but the silence between her sentences will tell you everything. When a woman loves but hides it, she becomes emotionally alert to your world. She notices who makes you laugh, who texts you, who you spend time with. Not because she's trying to control you, but because love has made her protective. That's why she might suddenly question something small or tease you in ways that sound harmless but carry meaning. She's trying to understand where she stands without ever asking directly. You'll see it in how she defends you, too. When someone criticizes you, she'll go quiet, or worse, she'll push back, not because she wants to start conflict, but because her instinct is to protect what she values. A woman in love becomes your silent defender. She'll justify your flaws, soften your mistakes, and believe in your potential even when you don't. And that belief, that quiet loyalty, it's one of the purest signs her heart has already chosen you. Then there's her vulnerability, the one she tries so hard to hide. You'll notice moments where her confidence fades and something raw slips through. Maybe she shares a story from her past or admits something she's never told anyone. That's not just a conversation, it's a surrender. Because for her, emotional exposure equals trust. Every secret she reveals is her way of saying, I'm trusting you not to break this. But right after she opens up, you'll often see her retreat. She'll laugh it off, change the topic, or even go distant for a while. It's not because she regrets telling you, it's because her fear wakes up again. She starts replaying the moment in her head, wondering if she revealed too much. That's how you know it's real. Because love for her isn't comfortable. It's something she feels deeply, but can't control. And control has always been her safety. And maybe the most beautiful thing, how she starts protecting you in ways you might not notice. She'll remind you to take care of yourself, worry when you're stressed, and celebrate your small victories as if they're her own. Her care becomes constant, quiet, consistent, unspoken. That's how women love when words feel too risky. But remember, this isn't manipulation or strategy. It's instinct. A woman's love, when it's real, reveals itself in contradiction. She'll act strong while feeling fragile. She'll push you away while wanting you close. She'll test you while hoping you'll stay. Every mixed signal is just a reflection of the war between her fear and her devotion. When you sense that tension, when she's distant yet present, guarded yet soft, don't mistake it for confusion. It's courage, because for a woman to love after pain, to risk her heart again after being broken, takes a kind of bravery few will ever understand. And if you're patient enough to stand steady in her storm, she'll eventually stop hiding. Not because you demanded it, but because you made her feel safe enough to be seen. There comes a moment when every woman who's been hiding her feelings has to make a choice. Keep running from what she feels or surrender to it. And when she finally does, it's not dramatic or loud. It's quiet. Real love doesn't scream. It exhales. It shows up in 1,000 small ways that say, I trust you now. That's when everything changes. When a woman finally decides to stop fighting her heart, her whole energy softens. The walls you once felt start to fade. The tension in her voice melts into warmth. She looks at you differently, not with curiosity or fear, but with peace. Because now she's not trying to control the outcome anymore. She's choosing you, even if it scares her. She's accepting that love might hurt, but you're worth the risk. You'll feel it in her presence. She won't need to play games or test your attention anymore. Her guard drops naturally. The teasing becomes genuine laughter. The distance turns into comfort, and her conversations with you become deeper, not because she's trying to impress you, but because she wants to connect. This is the stage where her love starts feeling safe enough to breathe, and that's when her actions start speaking louder than ever. She starts including you in her world. Her family might hear your name. Her friends might know things about you she never intended to share. She'll start imagining a future with you, not in some fantasy way, but in the little details of daily life. Her heart begins to plan around your existence. But even in this stage, remember this truth. Her love isn't about possession. It's about peace. When she loves openly, it's because she feels emotionally secure in your presence. The man who earns that kind of love isn't the loudest, the richest, or the most charming. He's the one who makes her feel safe to be soft, the one who listens more than he speaks, the one who sees her silence, her hesitation, her fear, and doesn't punish her for it. She'll start showing affection more naturally now, through touch, through presence, through care that feels like home. She'll start saying things like, I miss you. Not because she's trying to trap you, but because she finally feels safe enough to be honest. And when that happens, you'll realize something powerful. Her love was never hidden. because she didn't feel it. It was hidden because she needed to make sure it was safe to reveal. And when she finally does, don't take it lightly. You're not just being loved, you're being trusted. Trusted with her scars, her history, her fear, and her hope. That's a sacred thing. Something you don't own, but something you protect. Because the same heart that now loves you openly once feared love enough to hide it. So when she finally lets you see her heart, when the mask drops and her eyes say what her lips can't, don't respond with pride. Respond with presence. Show her that her surrender wasn't a mistake, that you're not another lesson she'll regret, but the peace she's been searching for. And here's the truth most men forget. A woman's love doesn't grow in passion, it grows in safety. When she feels seen, respected, and emotionally secure, she blooms. And that's when her love becomes unstoppable. So now, let me ask you something personal. Have you ever felt a woman loving you in silence through the small things, through her distance, through her fear, and only later realized it was love all along? Tell me in the comments because your story might help another man see what he's been missing. If this spoke to you, don't just keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe for more truth about love and female psychology, and share this with a friend who needs to hear it.